Today we're going to go over what is E85, also known as flex fuel. You might also come across the name ethanol. And basically we're going to talk about what those terms are. We're going to talk about the pros associated with running E85, maybe some of the cons associated with running E85, maybe some other terminologies you'll come across, and then maybe some of the things you'll need to do in order to convert your car over to E85, and maybe even if it's worth it for you. So to begin understanding what E85 is, we need to start at the beginning. What is ethanol? And ethanol, otherwise also called grain alcohol, drinking alcohol, is a volatile, flammable, colorless liquid. That's the same stuff that's in your beer and your vodka, or that's in your wine. So it's drinkable alcohol. So now that we know what ethanol is, it's basically drinkable alcohol. It's alcohol. We can begin to understand what E85 is. So E85 is the blend of two fuels. It's going to be gasoline as well as ethanol, drinkable alcohol. And the blend can be anywhere between 51% to 83% of ethanol per volume. So if you have a gallon and you are using 85, it would be anywhere between 51% to 83% ethanol, and the rest would be gasoline, depending on the season. So ethanol in the U.S. Is typically made from corn, but other countries, such as Brazil, it can be made of algae or any other biomass that's available or in abundance. So another thing you're also going to see is something like E10. You might be on the forums and see E30, E50, depending on what vehicle. Whenever you see an E and then a number after the E, that number refers to the percentage of alcohol in the blend, or ethanol in the blend. So if you see E10, it's typically 10% ethanol and then 90% gasoline. If you see E30, it's going to be 30% ethanol, 30% gasoline, vice versa. So now that we spoke about what is E85 and what is ethanol, and I'm sure you're asking, why would you want to run E85 in your vehicle? What's so great about E85? So there are a few benefits associated with running E85 over something like gasoline. And the first one that we're going to talk about is higher octane rating. With E85, the octane rating can be anywhere from 100 to 105, which is a significant increase to most gasolines. But by providing a higher octane rating, the engine can safely run things like higher boost, much more aggressive engine timing, with the lower risk of something called detonation. Prior to E85 being supplied or being readily available, that octane rating 100 to 105 was only found in racing fuels, really expensive racing fuels. But now E85 provides the same level of performance and pre-detonation protection at something like 289 a gallon, which brings me to my next topic, which is E85 is significantly lower, especially here in California and surrounding states. So 91 octane is around 511 to 540 a gallon, and E85 is anywhere from 269 to 319 a gallon. So there's a significant cost savings that is coupled with the performance benefits associated with the E85. So another benefit to running E85 is there's a significant cooling effect that E85 provides that gasoline doesn't. The cooling effect will provide lower temperatures in places like the combustion chamber and the cylinder head during the ignition process, which allows for a safer environment in high-performance engines that run things like high boost or, again, aggressive ignition timing. So depending on the fuel system of the vehicle you're running E85 on, your vehicle might also experience a reduction in air intake temperatures that can also be another performance benefit. So the fourth one is more of an engine health kind of thing. So by running E85, it's a much cleaner fuel, and it burns a lot cleaner. So you'll see a lot less carbon deposits and a much cleaner engine. So there was a group that ran E85 through their lawnmower, and They documented the process and the effects of E85 on the lawnmower.
Hey, did you ever put E85 in your lawnmower? Do you ever wonder what would happen if you did? That's coming right up. Hi, I'm here with Fred White, and he is with the Owensboro Community and Technical College. It says so right on his shirt. These guys did a fantastic experiment. You just got to tell us about it. What did you guys do?
Well, the big problem out there, we actually seen with the ethanol, and everybody's saying how bad it is for the engines and stuff like that. And everybody's saying this and saying that and saying this. Well, we came up with an idea. Why don't we just show them what's happening to the engines? So we got together with a sponsorship of Missouri Corn and Kentucky Corn. We actually took these three color engines, 27 horse. We ran them for 500 hours. We did the servicing, maintenance. We also documented everything from the oil. We had it all sent off, tested. We documented bore scopes, compression tests, everything in service and intervals like it's supposed to be done. The students actually did it at Owensboro Community Technical College, which made it great for an engagement. They actually got to learn a little bit about this and also use what we was taught them and use their own tuition or something like that. They use their own bit of portion to learn about this. But then we took these engines, we actually tore them down, just stripped them down. I hated to do that. It breaks my heart whenever you take apart a good engine, by all means. And we actually look and see exactly, is E85 or ethanol tearing up the motors? Well, we approved it. It is not hurting the engines. It's actually runs really great. And we got a display here that you can actually see the carbon buildup. You also see the heads as far as your flow, carbon, piston, crankshaft, camshafts, and everything here. All your components right here. And all the engines were ran at the exact same time. Just the only thing that was different was the fuel.
Right, now let me just reiterate something. These were brand new engines to start with.
That's the most important part because I do have seen studies where people was actually, they took an older engine, dumped it in there and say, okay, and this is the result. These were brand new out of the box. When we took them out of the box, the students had to make these runnable stands, and you can actually see the stand right here later on. They built the entire stand. They learned the fabrication, the geometry, and all that stuff, and it was fun. They had to wire it in, and we just started off with all the different types of fuels in them. We did not, we made sure everything was documented, made sure every student, it was also a learning leadership. Each student had their own book, got 3 other students or so, or 4 other students, and he told them what to do and how to do it, and make sure they stayed on track because we didn't want any mishaps or mistakes during this process.
Well, that is just unbelievable. So as you can see, they started out with brand new engines, and over here we have the E85. We can see a certain amount of carbon here, not too bad. Over here is the E10, right, that you would normally get right out of the gas motor. This is just loaded up with carbon on the tops of the pistons and everything, and not very much over here at all. Oh yeah, look at the valves. This is really crappy compared to over here. Well, there's a little bit of buildup over here. You got to admit a bit of that, but not near as bad as over here. So there you have it. So if I had a flex fuel lawnmower engine, would I put E85 in there? Yeah, I guess I would.
So based on the video that we just watched, we can see the effects that running ethanol has and compare that to the effects with running gasoline, and pretty much determine that running ethanol is much cleaner and in return better for your engine. So one of the biggest benefits of running E85 is actually the environmental benefit, especially in terms of the current climate change issues that we're facing as human beings, is that E85 it reduces greenhouse gases significantly. In August 2018, the American Coalition for Ethanol published a discovery saying that running E85 flex fuel reduces greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50% more than gasoline, which is a pretty substantial difference. So we've gone over some of the benefits as to why you might want to run E85 on your vehicle, but what about some of the cons associated with running E85? So one of the main disadvantages to running E85 is the fact that E85 per volume has less energy than gasoline. This means that you'll need to burn about 30% more fuel to get the same amount of energy in comparison to gasoline, which in turn means more fuel consumption. Another potential issue depending on where you live is E85 availability. In some areas, there aren't any E85 stations around. In others, there's an abundant amount of E85 stations. So it really depends on where you live. Another potential issue is what your climate is like. E85 attracts water and is very difficult to start in cold climates. So if you live in a very humid climate, or if your vehicle is in a very cold climate, it might not be the best suitable option for you. So now that we covered what is ethanol, what is E85, what is E10, some of the pros associated with E85 and some of the cons associated with E85, why would you want to use this kind of fuel? You would realistically want to use this kind of fuel if you're chasing horsepower numbers, or if you want to break away from utilizing gasoline. For some vehicles, it's very easy to convert over from gasoline to E85. Sometimes it's as simple as an ECU calibration, otherwise known as a tune. For other vehicles, converting over to ethanol is a bit more challenging. There may be other supporting modifications needed, such as a fuel pump and injectors and an ECU tune. The ECU tune is not only necessary but critical in order to convert over from gasoline to E85, because the ECU tune corrects the necessary fuel needed in order to run E85 safely. If not, E85 ran without a tune may cause lean conditions and in turn damage your engine, resulting in thousands of dollars worth of damage. So most important thing if you're thinking about converting from gasoline to E85 is consult a tuner that is familiar with your vehicle and what's necessary in order to convert over from gasoline to E85, and consult with them. They will have the best recommendations and they'll know what's needed in order to convert, and also most likely provide you with a quote necessary in order to convert. Now, E85 can run on a small selection of vehicles from the factory called flex fuel vehicles. These vehicles don't need any modification and can be identified using a yellow gas cap and stickers located around the vehicle, such as under the hood or near the gas cap, saying that the vehicle is flex fuel capable. So that's pretty much it, guys. We went over what is ethanol, what is E85, what is E10, what are the pros associated with the E85, what are the cons associated with the E85, and why you might want to switch over to E85 from gasoline, and some of the things that you might need to do in order to switch over from gasoline to E85. So really appreciate your patience. If you made it all the way here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and watch out for more videos.